Welcome everybody to another episode of Can You Reach That?
Can you reach that?
I'm Tango.
And I'm Coop.
Man, have you seen the sneakers coming out lately?
I seen them wet cement 4s that are coming out.
The wet cement 4s.
Yeah, that's
You getting them?
Think about it. That's one that I have an affinity for. Well, I mean, not 4s in general. They're cool. I'm a fan of 3s myself, but the gray colorway.
Right.
I like
because it goes with everything, right? You can just throw it on with whatever you're wearing.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm a huge fan of versatility when it comes to my wardrobe and everything like that. So most of the shoes that I have are like a gray, a white,
right,
type of base.
Can you reach that? You see that? Let's talk about it. Be that. Believe that. Let the people know.
It's Can You Reach That?
Want to know? Can you reach that? Can you reach that? And now your host, Tango and Coop.
Those wet cements are nice though. I can't lie. I'm thinking about getting them. You sounds like you're getting them.
Yeah, that all over. I like that all over gray. It's kind of like a cool gray, but it's not.
Right.
And then you want to put some pop in it, you just change the shoelaces out.
That is
add some color.
Is facts.
Yeah,
that is facts.
That's how I like to do it.
I dig Jordan 4s. Jordan 4s, like you said, Jordan 3s are very classic. But when I saw the wet cement colorway, even I was like, man, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, what's one more pair of shoes in the collection, right?
Yeah.
At this point, like, I mean, I don't know. I might need to build a room onto my house just for shoes.
Just for shoes? Yeah, we need one. Wifey's got a nice little collection.
I think part of it is the quantity of pairs that I have. The other side is just the square footage that they take up, being that they're size 15s.
Yeah, I'm sure that takes up a lot too.
So
more than the average shoe.
Big tall people problems, I should say.
Man, being tall.
So telling you. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm definitely gonna cop those 4s. I still got the pennies on my list too. Those I told you, those OG foams.
The foams, yeah.
Those are on my list. So when those drop,
you getting them? You know when they're coming out? Do they have a release date yet?
Those are purchases. It's supposed to be this year, I believe. Okay. It's supposed to be this year. But those are getting copped.
Yeah, I don't have any. I won't say I'm not a foam fan, but I don't have any foams.
We'll change that.
We're gonna give me some.
We'll change that. We get some foams cracking. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up.
Those foams, man. I call them the creaseless wonders, because it's just, if you can crease some foams.
The toe there, because there really is no toe box.
Because the laces go all the way down.
All the way to the
and then the material itself is just like, it's like if you can crease them, I mean, you definitely got your money's worth, because the amount of wear and tear you have to do to crease Foamposites is insane. But
that's crazy.
Stylish.
Black shirt. No.
That's not.
Never mind.
That's not. Let's just not do that. I mean,
Glock tuck. No.
Just say Billie Eilish, dude. Just say it. Just do the whole for the people want to hear it now. The people want to hear.
I don't want to do it now.
People want to hear the viral sound coming straight from the mouth of Coop.
Glock shirt, big T-shirt, Billie Eilish. I can't even say it.
See,
I can't even.
We have the beat drop right there.
How does it even go? Glock tuck, big T-shirt, Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway,
so I mean, that's.
Any other shoes you got your eye on that are coming out?
Too many to count.
Really? Yeah, I haven't been keeping track of the shoes lately, but those.
It's Kobe's coming.
The wet cements popped up.
Whenever there's a new Kobe, especially like a Pro Tro drop or something, eyebrows raised. What?
Yeah.
You got some Kobe's dropping?
Yeah.
Told you, comfort level in those shoes for whatever they're just comfortable. So I'm a big fan of the Kobe's, but they're stylish too. So
Billie Eilish.
We're just not gonna escape Billie Eilish today. Hey,
anytime I hear stylish
goes to Billie Eilish.
Stylish goes to Billie Eilish.
Well,
just like if I say, no, I'm not gonna say that.
Go. You already started.
It's like just like if I say can't stop, won't stop. Like Everybody, Bad Boy 99, like.
But at this point, when you say that, I feel like somebody has to say no Diddy.
No Diddy, right? But
So,
it's a word association.
Can't stop, won't stop. No Diddy.
There's a lot of word associations in my head.
It's a gift and a curse when you're that much of a fan of music, or even movies for that matter.
Music and movies, yeah.
Because there's so many things that can trigger you.
I used to, I guess it'll be like early 2000s. Like everything was in movie quote. Like we just used to talk in movie quotes around the office. Like it was just a movie quote. Back and forth, everybody was, it was all kinds of crazy.
So that's why y'all went out of business. Nobody got shit done. It was just let's say a bunch of movie quotes and not do work.
Basically.
Hey guys, we have a meeting. We're closing down the company. We decided we're not profitable. Apparently, nobody does shit around here
except make movie quotes.
So, hey, it's at some point you got to put that as an accomplishment on the resume, right? I folded a company by working there for 3 years and doing nothing but quote movies. That's an accomplishment.
Huge accomplishment.
I remember working at I shouldn't really call out the company's names, man. But
so you worked at this one spot.
I remember working at this one spot, and me and my boy, we're big on nicknaming people.
Yeah.
So the nicknames got pretty out of hand, and the smart assedness, the quotes, everything got out of hand to the point where I remember a supervisor came over and told us we were going to be the downfall of the company. And I'm telling you, this is like a Fortune company. This is a big corporate company, corporate brand, well-known brand.
Yeah.
And us making up nicknames and just saying random things around the office apparently was going to downfall this company, according to the supervisor.
It's not going to fly.
We took that and ran with it because that became the new quote. Every time somebody says something, shut up, you're going to be the downfall of this company. To the point where that in itself became the running joke. It was you'd say a smart ass comment in a meeting, and then somebody would turn around and go, shut up, you're going to be the downfall of this company. So it was like, he kind of ruined himself at that point.
Yeah.
He became the downfall of himself because we ran with that boy. Like, I mean, I must have been 19 at that time. So you wasn't gonna tell me shit at that point. You know how it is.
Yeah, you just gonna lean into it.
We I remember my boy Sergio, friends to this day, and I think that's where our friendship started, was working together there.
Yeah,
just because the sense of humor is matched. We were the first one. We were the ones that were told we were gonna be the downfall, and we were the first ones to run with you're gonna be the downfall of this company.
Yeah,
to the point where to this day I do still say that to certain people, whether they get it or not. I just say it. Just because
they have no idea what you're talking about.
And for me, that makes it kind of funnier.
Yeah.
But, it's like you say something trying to crack a joke, especially when it's a dry joke and it gets no laughs.
Yeah.
I'll bust out with you're going to be the downfall of this company. And I'll get laughs for that. But people don't really understand the backing, the history.
That's crazy.
But, yeah, water cooler talk is taking leaps and bounds in my circle. It's not just rumors and, small talk at the water cooler. It's jokes, nicknames, and apparently downfalling
companies,
Fortune 500s,
taking them down with your jokes and your wit. Yeah, I would say the last time I was in a spot where we were like quote heavy was 2013, and everybody was on Archer. Like it was just
Archer is so good.
Archer everywhere, all kinds of Archer quotes.
Archer is so good, and it's funny too because when I watch Bob's Burgers, I just hear Archer.
Right.
So it's just like, but yeah, Bob's Burgers.
Nah, Bob's.
I was late on that one because when I first started watching it, I didn't like it because I was a big fan of Archer and just the voice. It's just
it didn't fit.
But it grew on me. I mean, Bob's Burgers ain't that. It's not too bad. But
so I got a concept. Bob's Burgers is the continuation of Archer in an undercover role. Like he's still Archer.
I've heard people say that actually.
But he's undercover as a restaurant owner.
Right.
Raising a family. That's why he's so miserable.
Right. He used to be this like spy and
right.
Just doing all this crazy stuff, and then now he's flipping burgers.
Right. Making his burger of the day.
It would be funny if that gets revealed.
That'd be crazy.
That would be pretty hilarious.
Like they all show up at the restaurant. Pam and all of them.
Right. we need a burger of the day, Bob. And he turns over and
that'll be the crossover.
what are you guys doing here?
That'll be the crossover of all crossovers right there. A Bob's Burger and Archer.
And keep the animation for Archer characters in that style.
Yeah.
So they look vastly different from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
And then slowly as they pull him back into that world, his animation morphs
back into
the Archer style. That would be hilarious.
That would be wild.
That would be hilarious. Man, if that happens, I feel like we need writer's credit just for that 2-minute banter.
Yeah.
So
that'd be crazy.
I know you're not big on sports and video games when it comes to sports video games, but I was a huge fan back in the day of NBA Street, PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
That game was I want to say it was like NBA Jam with some urban appeal. I mean, it was like the modern day NBA Jam. Graphics were on point.
Yeah.
You had the trick moves, 3-on-3. I love that game. I mean, I played the hell out of it to the point where I've tried to revisit it and the graphics look like crap now. And for some reason, you know how it is. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
You remember back there being so good, and now you look at it and you're like, oh, it wasn't really.
It's all in comparison,
but it was for the time.
Yeah.
But a group of guys that used to work for EA, they have a studio called Play by Play Studios, and word on the street is, I think I read this in, I don't remember where I read it now, but I remember reading it, and they're doing a sort of a sequel, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And what it sounds like, it's not going to have the NBA license, but it'll be along the lines of a game like NBA Street, and they're calling it The Run. Got next.
Right.
Even if it's not with NBA players, but it has that gameplay graphic, and it's supposed it's using Real Engine 5, so that tells me the graphics should be pretty dope.
So it'll be like Street Ballers and stuff?
Yeah, so it'll be more of a Street Baller game rather than NBA names.
That would be, just thinking out loud, it would be cool if they got the players from the And One series. You remember?
That would be dope. That would be dope.
You get the professor in there.
Yeah. And then they could have skins, because he did the YouTube series where he was dressed like Spider-Man. I don't know if you saw that, where he was going out hooping and schooling people in a Spider-Man fit.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, if they could get actual street players and street legends in the game, that would be even more iconic.
Yeah.
But just the fact that the gameplay, if it's even anywhere along the lines of what NBA Street was with street players and obviously updated physics and graphics and everything else, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what comes out of it, because I was a huge fan of the NBA Street series. So the fact that they're announcing this sort of, there's no timeline. I didn't hear any date or nothing, but I heard that it's something that's being done.
Yeah.
And, I'm hella excited because NBA
That'll
Street.
be cool.
I was a big fan of NBA Street, man. I was surprised because it was a successful series. They did 2 of them, and I felt like once they went to PS4, we would see a new iteration. And we never did.
But they never picked it up.
And obviously now we're on PS5. Another series that was like that, the baseball, which was the Bigs. I love playing MLB The Show.
Yeah.
It's very realistic. You throw it on. I mean, graphics were really, really nice. Gameplay is good, but like for that arcadiness of it, they used to have a game called The Bigs, and there was 2 versions, The Bigs and Bigs 2. And aside from the game just being baseball on crack and damn near tackle baseball. They had a home run, like a home run kind of mode where there was one where you were sitting in the middle of Times Square, and so you're hitting, you're taking pitches and you're hitting, and you're crashing into the signs and all that kind of stuff. And I thought the game was fantastic, and I'm waiting for a new version of that, but that never came to fruition. So sometimes the most successful franchises, even if they're a sub-variant of such as the Bigs and NBA Street, even if they're that successful, it just shows that business is business.
Right.
So they never revisited, but hopefully at some point we'll get something new along those lines.
Wasn't there like a Def Jam basketball game back in the day or something like that?
I know there was
the
Def Jam fight games, the Vendetta, where it was it had a whole bunch of rappers and whatnot, and it was a fighting game.
Yeah.
And those were dope too. And we need another one of those. Imagine the roster now.
Was there a rapper basketball one?
I don't remember.
That would be dope.
I don't remember if there was a rap. There might have been, but I do remember the Def Jam, like Fight for Your City and the Vendetta and whatnot. And those were dope. And I think they should bring those back because the amount of people that you could put on that roster
would be
just
insane.
through the roof.
It would be insane.
So, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited for those. I'm excited for those games. You know, I know you're not a sports game, but is there any games you eyeballing? I know you play here and there.
Not really. If anything, so I did turn on my PS. What do I have? 4. I turned on my I had to think about it for a second. Turned on my PS4 earlier this week because I happened to be, scrolling through the socials and everything. And Fortnite, they got all those emotes and everything like that, right? On Fortnite.
Right.
Turns out they got a Seawalk emote on Fortnite that dropped last year. I seen it and I was like, ooh, I wonder if it's still available. It wasn't. I couldn't find it. The whole layout changed. It's crazy. I didn't even remember. Couldn't even figure out how to navigate the whole thing. But I was looking to see like maybe I could pick it up. Like that would have got me back onto it for a little
Fortnite.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
touched Fortnite in a long time, man. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible game. I'm just not a huge fan.
Yeah.
But I played it for a little bit, but
not for you.
It's.
Are you a online gamer? Are you a shooter gamer?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm a Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Okay.
Although I haven't played in a minute either because it got very repetitious.
You mentioned, so aren't they coming out with a new one? Isn't it going to be like the Gulf War?
Yeah, version? I initially I thought it was a 9/11 type thing, but I think it is more Gulf War because I saw the latest trailers and it has like George Bush Sr.
Yeah,
and Saddam.
Yeah, like I would cop that one.
The campaign. I mean, I played the last campaign on the the one that had Kennedy and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I played through that one. That campaign mode was dope, and I did play that one online for a little bit. But just online at this point, it gets pretty repetitious. I'm kind of an impatient person, so once I've played some of the maps a few times and
you're over it,
I'm just kind of like, all right, well, next. And so I'll go for. I usually just swap games, just go for something else, play something else.
Yeah.
So, but I will the new Call of Duty with that Gulf War. I'll probably end up doing the campaign for that because it.
Yeah, I can't do online. I'm terrible with the shots, so it's like the second I pop in, somebody's got me.
It's all about the trash talk.
Yeah, I'm not good at that either.
You can be halfway good as long as your trash talk game is on point.
Both suck, so I can't talk trash for shit. I can't play for shit, so I'm just like
if even when I'm getting abused, yeah, my shit talk game is
top notch.
Yeah, like I can make somebody who gets me feel like they lost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just you got to go in on it sometimes. Little 12-year-old Billy on the other side's gonna get it.
I mean, it's too toxic for me. I'm in a space now to where it's like no negativity type shit. So
I'm joking about 12-year-old Billy, although I'm kind of not, because I've played them games where all of a sudden you hear like the 12-year-old Billy in the background, screaming and crying and yelling because he's getting just abused through the game. Everybody's just killing him. And I've even had it where I've heard kids screaming to their moms to shut up. They're like, "Shut up, mom! I'm playing a game." I'm like, dude, like if I had online gaming when I was a kid and I was playing, and my mom said, "Come do this or come do that," and I said, "Shut up, mom! I'll come when I'm done playing." Oh, the switches and the belts and the phone extension cords and the whatever else that would come out. Like
any weapon of opportunity.
I'm not gonna sit there and say I was abused. I wasn't. I was disciplined. There's a difference, but
you probably deserved it.
But goddamn, like if I said that to my mom, for one, the game system is getting tossed out.
Right, first and last time.
Like it's getting demolished. Like and I'm never having video games again.
Right.
So no, I bug out the stuff that I hear through those headphones playing online. I bug out some of the stuff I hear little kids screaming out.
Even when I'm on, I got all that crap off because I can't.
I've heard little kids cussing and their mom walk in the room screaming at them like, "What did you just say?" Like, and I'm sitting over here just at this point like I'm a audible voyeur
eating it up,
and I'm just like, and I'm laughing, and other people are on the and they're getting laughing like little Billy's over there getting his ass whooped because he on there cussing, and you can tell too. Sometimes those little kids are on there and they cuss, but they do that like that loud whisper, that loud scream whisper. They're like, "Shut up! I'm gonna kill your shit." And it's like because they don't want to fully. Yeah, because mom's in the kitchen. Mom's gonna hear you yell out that you
gotta keep it low.
I'm gonna kill your shit. Nah, you gotta do that aggressive whisper, and even then, you hear the mom's busting that door. What did you just say? Oh man, I'm just sitting there eating it up. I'm like, man, I should be recording this and putting it on TikTok.
That's crazy.
That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen in my house.
That just sounds toxic. Man.
It wouldn't happen in my house. Like for one, just the safety factor of playing online when you're like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
Yeah.
My mom wouldn't have probably allowed it. And then even then, say like, you're mid-teen, 14, 15, probably be allowed to do it. But if I was in there talking all that madness when mom told me to go do something, that's the end of that.
That'll be the end of that, yeah.
But, kids nowadays, man.
Your mom's was pretty strict?
My parents were strict.
They ran a tight ship?
Yeah, I mean, you had to get stuff done right. You had to have your stuff in order and schoolwork, all that stuff. Like, and not only that, just pivoting a little bit, even when I had like game system, PlayStation 1 or whatever, right? I wasn't voluntarily in the house all the time anyways. I was outside.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I was in there with my friends playing games once in a while, and mostly when it was raining, or or maybe it was just excessively hot and we just wanted to be inside.
Right.
But we were outside playing football in the street, using newspapers as bases and playing baseball in the street. We were doing that kind of stuff, not trying to come in until the street lights came on. So
different times.
Video games wasn't.
They weren't.
It was an option, but it wasn't the first option. It wasn't the go-to
like it is now.
So now I feel like kids are just like that. When I drive up the block, I would expect to see kids outside playing in the street. Because I remember how I was. And it was like, you saw a car come to the block, and they moved to the side, car passed, got back in the street, continued your football game. You know what I mean? Like, nowadays, you don't see no kids I don't see kids riding bikes. Like, I don't see, like, where is all that stuff,
Would
man?
you want your kids riding bikes out in the streets, though?
I mean.
Like, I feel like it's such a different time now. And the other thing, too, is, like, there really wasn't much for a kid to do in the house. Which is why we were outside.
Yeah,
outside, you had some freedom and everything like that.
Either you're staring at the TV playing games, you're staring at the TV watching movies, you're staring at the iPad, you're staring at the phone, you're staring at screen. It's like, get out there and live your life. Like, have a childhood.
But I mean, how many TVs did you guys have in your house growing up?
We had living room, mom's room, and me and my brother
had multiples.
Yeah, we had a TV, but we wasn't like.
Yeah, us growing up, we only had one TV in the living room.
I didn't get a TV in my room. I'm not gonna lie, till I was probably about maybe like 14. So other than that, it was just living room and my parents' room.
Yeah, it's different now. There's a lot of stuff to do inside the house now because everything is on a device. With the Wi-Fi, with the internet, with social media.
To do in the house. We had vacuuming. We had dishes.
You trying to do that now?
We had but. I'm just saying, like, go outside and play.
Those aren't things that people want to do inside the house.
You ain't lived until you played freeze tag in 110-degree weather.
One thing that will encourage kids to go outside and play is the internet goes down.
But I feel like even then they won't go outside and play. They just sit in the house complaining about how there's nothing to do.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like me, when the internet goes down, my instincts is I have 6,000 Blu-rays and I have a Blu-ray player. I'm good. I can watch something. Not only that, I'll go out. I'll go do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But different time again. It's like it's different times. Like they grew up. The reason they're so screen prevalent is because we introduced that to them. Like I would say that we are the first generation that played video games as adults heavily. Regularly.
I probably agree with that.
Because we're the ones that grew up like when they made video. The difference between our generations and the generations now.
Video games were for kids.
Right. Now, video games are for adults because we're the ones that are making the video games.
So my parents had a Nintendo. And it was in the living room. I wasn't allowed to play that mug. When I was a little kid, I wasn't allowed to play that. Like, that was theirs. Like, they played it. Once in a while, I would play it, but usually they was watching TV, so I couldn't
couldn't play it.
I couldn't play it. So outside I went.
Yeah. But again, that goes back to what I was saying. Like there wasn't stuff for us to do inside the house to keep us entertained.
Yeah.
And if you're inside the house for too long and you start getting too annoying, your parents are going to kick you out of the house anyway.
Go outside and do something.
I've been stressed out at work all week. The last thing I want to do is hear you in here disturbing my peace.
I bug out because I remember, like, almost on a daily basis, knocks on the door, friends like, hey, can Tim come out? And I'll go out. Or unless I was on punishment. And the most embarrassing thing is when you get that knock, can Tim come out and play? You know, punishment. Because now I'm like, they outside having a good time. You know, they doing whatever, and I could hear them the whole time through the window.
I was gonna say, can you see them through the window? You have to look through the window pane with that tear in your eye.
Growing up, for the most part, where my apartment was, the side windows where my bedroom was just looked at the other building, so I didn't really see them, but I could hear them.
Yeah.
So whenever I was on punishment, I used to be mad, man. I sit in the room like, you know,
hear them outside playing.
Just, you know, and then of course when you were allowed to get off punishment, you know, whatever your duration was, your time served, you go outside and the first thing, what did you do? What did you do? Why was you on punishment? You know, it's like, damn, dog, like I'm out here now. Let's do something. Like,
yeah, let's not worry about that.
Like,
I'm here now, right?
But yeah,
that's
man.
all that matters. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, as an adult, I don't like leaving the house. I don't even like going outside to play right now.
It's kind of facts. I mean, especially, you know, COVID made me a hermit. I mean, I know we've talked about this off air, but like,
yeah,
you know, COVID just got me like, man, y'all some sick mofos. I'm trying to stay in the house. You know,
right.
Like, I don't want to say I'm a germaphobe, but it definitely, I think it did it for a lot of people. It heightened awareness.
Yeah.
Because I know even as we started, when lockdown was kind of easing up and we was slowly getting back to shopping and, you know, but, you know, wearing masks and, you know, all that requirements and all that stuff.
Right.
I remember just seeing how nasty, like it was prevalent how nasty people were at that point. Because I'd be in the stores and you'd see people just hawking up lungs and sneezing on shit, and I'm like, I saw people literally, we're masked up, right? I see people looking at cereals in the aisle, you know, and they'll take the mask off,
to cough,
sneeze or cough, but you see the cloud of everything that hits all the products on the shelf, and I'm like, first and foremost, you took your mask off to do that. Like,
well, I don't want it in my mask.
At the very least, you know, cover your, you know, dab it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something. Like, don't just spray it all. Because now you have this heightened COVID. You know, it's COVID going around. There's a lot of people, you know, getting sick, dying, whatever. If you happen to have that, anybody who touches that box
can potentially.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm like, you got a mask on, and I get it. Like you said, oh, I'm not trying to sneeze inside my mask because then I got
now my mask is all wet.
Like, it's all touching me. But I'm like, you know, you ain't got another mask in your back pocket or something, like, or you got a tissue, or can you not, like I said, dab it up, sneeze into the arm. I mean, I always bugged out about people sneezing to their hand because, again, and this is before COVID.
That was the old way to do it.
You're sneezing into your hand, and you're like, hey, man, what's up, dog?
You just wipe it off.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, what's up? You know, and then 2 days later, you're like, hey, where Coop at? Oh, he got a cold. For real? That's crazy. I had a cold a couple days ago, too. So
yeah,
it's like, man, like, you know,
it changes. Do you remember when it changed from sneezing into the hand to sneezing into your elbow pocket?
I don't, but I remember as a kid, like, people used to, like, the instinct was to, you know, you sneeze
into your hand. Yeah,
and I remember, you know, my parents and you know, people in my family, whatever, would say, use your arm. Like, I used to, like, that was a thing. So it just kind of became second nature to me to, like, sneeze down in them, you know, into the crevice of your elbow.
Yeah.
Because as I got older now, you know, you're sneezing into your hand, and then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, now you're touching stuff, you're shaking people's hands, you know, especially because, you know, as I became a teenager and I started hooping and everything like that, you think about that. Like, if I was sneezing in my hand all the time, or I'm doing, and I'm like, hey, good shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had a cold the night before or 2 days before, you just
became a super spreader.
I just benched the roster.
You just became a super spreader.
So but I know a lot of people have become more into the arm in more recent years.
Yeah, I'm suppressing the sneeze. Like
and see, I've heard that's bad for like your lungs and everything else.
Yeah, you can blow your eye socket out or something like
that. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So.
Or I'll sneeze into the shirt.
Right.
Like
pull the shirt up. Like yeah.
To catch all my spray at least.
Yeah.
But
You can. But at least you're catching on yourself. So
I can't make myself any sicker, can I?
I mean, there's been times where like I've had a shirt. And obviously if you sneeze into your arm, you got a long sleeve on.
You get the little wet spot.
You might have some residue. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's times depending, time, place, and situation where like I'll sneeze into my hand.
Yeah.
And then I'll hit to the restroom real quick. You know what I'm saying? Wash my hands up and.
I use hand sanitizer a lot more now. Two things that have made me a lot more, I don't know what you want to call it, hygienic.
Right.
Pandemic was one,
right.
and wifey was another.
Okay.
Because she was wash your hands all the time. I mean, she's a mom, so
for sure.
Moms are always like, make sure you wash your hands like before. I actually, unpopular opinion, interesting concept that I used to have. I used to, not that I'm a dirty individual, but
here it comes.
Introducing dirt or whatever into my system, in my mind, help make my immune system stronger. Yeah.
Well, I've always said that, again, going back to playing outside all the time, what did you do? You didn't want to go in the house because you didn't want to get called in, so you drank the hose water.
Right.
You turned the hose on. Didn't matter whose hose it was. You turned the hose on. You let it run for a few minutes for two reasons. One, because you assumed you're washing out all the shit that's in there.
Not to mention that water in the hose is hot.
It's hot. So you're letting it get to that cold water. So then when it got to that cold water, you're like, bet. So I feel like there was some sort of enzymes and electrolytes and
drinking water out the hose, and eating dirt.
And I feel like that's why I'm the size I am, because my family is not tall. Like my mom's is like 5'2", dad is like just shy of 6 foot even.
Yeah.
My older brother is 5'7". You know what I'm saying? I'm the freak. So, but I'm the one that was outside drinking the hose water and all. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that must have did something to me. But
maybe. Different times back then. Like, who drinks hose water now? Do people drink tap water still?
Not unless it comes out of a Fiji bottle or some Voss. Does Voss make?
I don't know.
Somebody should come out with a brand called hose water.
That'd be crazy.
Get a can of water called hose water.
San Diego, so that would have been 20.
I mean, isn't like Dasani like just tap water filtered, right?
Filtered tap water.
So they should come up with a sub variant called hose water. People will probably buy it just for the nostalgia.
Be crazy. Yeah, San Diego, I'd say is the last time I drank tap water, like water straight out of the faucet.
Right.
And then my girl introduced me to, like, I couldn't taste the difference in water before.
Minerals matter. Minerals give you the taste.
To me, it's like water's water. It's all the same, unless there's some,
and especially if it's natural minerals rather than introduced minerals, because there is waters that introduce minerals to the water.
Yeah.
But if you have natural, like spring water, things like that have natural minerals, and you see where it's bottled from, what source it comes from.
Yeah.
There's different flavors. I mean, you can taste those minerals. Some of them have a sweeter, some of them have a drier.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, pandemic kind of put a lot of people onto a lot of stuff. I will say one thing that's kind of an ironic, maybe this is steering more to a political statement, but all the people who are opposed to wearing masks, I'm not wearing that stupid thing on my face to make me look like an idiot. You're just covering up, ironically, most of those people were just at the RNC with a tampon on the ear.
I saw that.
And it's like that. So that doesn't make you look stupid.
But they're not sheep.
Yeah,
but
right.
They're not sheep.
So don't want to steer this too political. But I did find, I was thinking about that watching the RNC, and you see all these people and they're putting bandages and gauze and whatever dressings on the side of their ear.
Yeah.
Like you said, one, sheep following, but two, as if that doesn't look ridiculous. But the mask that was actually for health purposes that could save lives, save your own health,
they weren't doing
that. That was stupid because it made you look like a fool.
Well, here's the concept. They wouldn't wear the masks because they were forced. It was being imposed.
Right, because you're not a sheep, you're a lion.
I wonder, and I doubt it, but I was going to say, I wonder if Trump would have made it mandatory. Like, you can't be at the RNC unless you're showing solidarity with your
with your tampon ear.
Would they have been like all about it, or would they have been like, don't infringe on my rights?
I mean, at that point, they should just start making people dye their skin orange and just call it a day.
Let's do it. Let's get some comb overs.
Yeah, just
full blown Donald Trump
Cheeto
clones.
Mafia.
Be like, will the real Donald Trump please stand up?
Oh,
just Trumps everywhere.
Oh man.
Have you listened to Eminem's new album yet? I haven't even listened to it yet.
Do we need to make a parody? Will the
real Donald Trump please stand up?
And everybody's wearing Cheeto face?
Bruh, that's we'll make it short later.
Oh man, that might have to be
add it to the notes.
That might have to be done.
We'll dig into that one.
But to answer your question, I have ran through Mr. Mather's
I haven't checked it out yet.
Album. I listened to it in order because I heard they said it was better to listen in order as a story. It was a conceptual kind of piece, and I dug it. And then I heard the theories about listening to it tracklist backwards, and I did that too. And I get it because it almost is like one way is the Marshall Mathers story sort of, and if you listen to it the other way, it's kind of like the Slim Shady
story, yeah.
And it's like these two personalities clashing. I will say that the song he has where he basically tells his daughter, if you're listening to this, it's because I'm dead. And he's kind of, in essence, it's going to be at some point, right? Speaking from beyond the grave, but without being, he got deep with it. Like, I mean, the fact that he had all these recordings of his daughter and him interacting, and he used those recordings on there, and he talked about moments in time. And I was like, I was impressed with that track. I thought it had a very different value than I've seen him come with before.
Right.
Had more of a sentimental, personal.
Yeah.
So I dug it. But yeah, there's a few songs. You got to check out Fuel. And for anybody listening, man, if you guys haven't checked out his album for whatever reason, I know there's a lot of back and forth opinions on who plays his music, who doesn't, and who can relate to what and whatnot. And I get that. Everybody's entitled to that. But if you're just a fan of lyrics and wordplay, I highly recommend listening to Fuel. And I highly recommend, even if you don't want to listen to whole songs, go to about if I'm not mistaken, is it the 2:30 mark around? He gets into a wordplay pattern that is, most people, if they had the lyrics in front of them and they tried to read it, would stutter.
Yeah.
Because of just the wordplay and the complexity of how he bashed it out. It is dope. It's super dope. I mean, Eminem's always been one for rhyming things that don't rhyme, just because of the way he uses the cadence and the way he breaks apart words. Because he doesn't just say words; he literally breaks apart words, and he goes off of not the traditional term of rhyming, but just off the sound that they can make based on how you say it, like with an accent or any sort of variable cadence.
Right.
But just that section, man, I was just like, holy shit! Like, I rewound it about 4 times just to hear it. And it's not that I didn't understand what he was saying. Perfectly clear what he was saying. It was just admiring the pattern, the toughness of it. And I'm sure, I'm sure that'll go viral at some point. People are going to start trying to mimic it and, recite it. But
yeah,
it's impressive. But yeah, it's worth a listen. I think he did his thing. It's a conceptual piece. Yeah. There goes talking about tongue twisters. I can't even say conceptual.
Right.
But it's dope. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. I mean, I would consider myself an Eminem fan. I'm really a fan of anybody who's a decent storyteller. Like, I love storytellers. Like, I like rap in general. I love the art of being able to, like you said, make words rhyme that you wouldn't even imagine putting those two together. It's like, man, how'd you come up with that? That's so genius. But like, and when I say storytellers, I'm thinking of like, the Slick Ricks children's story, literally.
Of course.
Whole song.
It's a story.
Yeah. Navigates you from start to finish, great storyteller.
I mean, Slick Rick is always called one of the greatest storytellers, and I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think Scarface
is a great storyteller.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that just have
J. Cole is a great storyteller.
Yeah, I agree. Just that storytelling ability. It's cool to rhyme, and it's cool to have just like the wordplay, the metaphors, the punchlines. That's all dope and everything like that, and they can make sense, and I get that. But it's something about just having a linear verse.
Yeah.
That just builds an image in your head. It's just dope.
And
but
follow along.
That's where we go back to what we've talked about before, where there should be subvariants, subgenres within rap and hip hop. Similar to how rock is. Rock, you have there's oldies rock, there's metal rock, there's hard rock, there's classic rock, there's grunge rock, there's all these sub variants because of the styles. And I feel like hip hop is just always considered hip hop or it's considered rap, and there's no sub variants. To be honest with you, you know, in a lot of genres, rock, pop, things like that, especially rock, you can be in your 60s and 70s and still be touring and still garner a gang of fans, still put out brand new albums, brand new music, and it's accepted more, I feel, than in hip hop. And I feel like as the generations now are starting to release stuff like, Eminem, for that matter, Jay-Z. I know Jay-Z hasn't come out in a little bit, but nonetheless, if he did, people would flock to it because they know that it's gonna have some substance, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel like, rock has oldies, or there's like,
classic
rock.
But I mean, let's
feel like we need some of those sub variants too, like in hip hop, because just because people, he's too old, he needs to stop doing. How's Eminem 50 and still trying to da 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 da? It's like, well, if you're 18 years old and you're listening to Eminem and you're saying that, it's probably not for you.
Yeah. But I mean,
not to say you couldn't appreciate it at 18, but what I'm just saying, like there should be a sub variant. It should be, we got a new album from classic rock.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a new album from classic rapper Eminem, and and you have that classic rap. You could have sub radio stations like Imagine Radio, right? Or even playlists on streaming services. You have that genre listed as have all those subgenres.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely needed, but you also got to keep in mind, like, this is technically still a new art form, like we just had the 50-year anniversary of hip hop.
Right.
And even at that, it wasn't always called hip hop. It used to be called rap.
Right.
And then I want to say somewhere in the 90s, they introduced this hip hop name, and it used to be rap and hip hop.
Right.
You don't really hear rap too much. And you hear about rappers.
And then you also had, because they used to kind of, bring in it's hip hop and R&B.
That was the other thing, the R&B part.
Because the R&B, once they started incorporating R&B artists into rap songs and doing hooks and things like that, that's another subgenre.
But even with the R&B, they had genres, because we had neo soul, we had,
for sure,
like, R&B had it off rip. With rap, there was literally just one avenue. You were just a rapper, period. But then they started hip hop, and even the way that I heard the word hip hop when I first heard it, I didn't hear hip hop, HIP, I heard hip hop, HIP, POP.
POP, right.
So it's like, to me, there were rappers, and then there were hip hop artists. Ice Cube, rapper, Diddy, hip hop. Right. Like MC Hammer. MC Hammer was hip hop to me, because anything commercial I felt was hip hop.
Hip hop, yeah. So you would kind of go with, like, in modern terms, you'd say Drake was hip hop.
Drake was total hip hop,
and Kendrick is rap.
Right. That's how I would describe it.
I agree.
So to me, those were the first two genres, but because it was such a new source of style,
right,
everything just gets clumped into one. And it's been that way for the past 50 years, because the institution, again, doesn't really know what to do with it. So everything is hip hop. Oh, you're a rapper. Everybody falls into the same bucket. So you got Lil Yachty fighting for the same spot as an Eminem or a Jay-Z or a J. Cole or a Common, like, there's so many different facets of rap. We used to, and it wasn't an official term, but we used to call it the backpack rap.
Yeah, and I was going to say that I know within the culture and within the community of hip hop or rap, there was always subgenres, because people who listen to it would be like, oh, that's gangster rap. Oh, that's conscious rap. Oh, that, you know what I mean? Like, so there was always those terms, right?
Yeah.
But it, like, when you went to a record store or when you go in, that was never there. Like, here's kind of an example that I remember. Nate Dogg. Who doesn't like a good Nate Dogg track, right? Like, Nate Dogg got on a track, it was a hit.
Nate Dogg on a hook, yeah.
So when his album came out, he sings, but everywhere I looked, they refused to put that in an R&B or in any sort of other genre. It was rap.
Other than rap.
But he wasn't rapping. You know what I mean?
He wasn't, yeah. He sang everything. I can't think of any.
So why they just, oh, he's a rapper. It's like, and I never understood that, because when, I remember when, you remember Never Leave Me Alone?
Yeah.
When that dropped out. It was in the rap section. And I get it, Snoop raps on it. But the whole song itself,
yeah,
he was singing.
It's crazy. He's a singer, but everything he did was on the rap beat, a hip hop beat.
Right.
You know?
But then you flip that and you have like 112 who sings and might have a Biggie verse, right?
Yeah.
That was an R&B section.
They don't call that, yeah.
That was an R&B section. So why did Nate Dogg, and I'm not saying maybe he wanted to be classified as a rapper. I don't know. I mean,
I think it's the
but
appearance for one, the genre. I mean, because we gotta categorize everything, you know,
right?
So because he dressed and looks like a rapper, because he's you know in the hood or whatever. Oh, he's a rapper.
So
same thing. TQ, like TQ was a singer,
right? And they would put his stuff in the rap section.
I'm sure they considered him rap. You know.
Yeah, and I mean when that first album came out, I remember it was in the rap section most of the time.
Yeah.
So
it's like, okay, this now the lines are getting blurred, you know. Right. It's like technically he's not a rapper.
Right.
But he's in the rap category. So yeah, I definitely think it's time for some subgenres to come out. But I mean, comparing it to the car culture, the car shows, you know, eventually you can't just have a first, second, third for all the cars in the show.
Right.
Because there's so many different subsections of vehicles now. It's like, okay, we got first, second, third Ford. We got first, second, third Chevy. First, second, third. Or before that, you know, we had domestic. Then you had import. So, you know, like everything has to be, eventually something gets big enough to where it has to be broken down.
You get the award for the darkest tints.
Man.
No, I've seen some crazy awards and some car shows.
People start doing it. We used to do a lighting category. I'm a huge, I don't know if you can tell. I like lights. I like LEDs. I like neons and stuff like that. Always wanted to put that stuff in my car. Fast and Furious was
so like, when we were designing this set, you think any of this came into play?
Just a little bit, you know. It's all over. It's we're two peas in the pod. But like I remember seeing the lights and stuff, and you know, I know there was a lot of people that thought it was corny, but I was like, I like it, I'm doing it.
Like the underbody kits and all that?
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to get it. I had the underbody kits, I had the neons inside the interior.
I'll say this. I saw a dude on the 405. I can't remember what kind of car it was because I wasn't paying attention to the car. But it was sporty, I can tell you that much. He had an underglow kit, right? The underglow kit was like the lights were white, so it wasn't like color like you see a lot of people with RGB and the different colors. Yeah. Maybe the color matches the paint. His was white. I don't know how he had this rigged. At first, I thought something was wrong with the car, but then as he would come to slower points within traffic, and this was in the evening, so it was prominent. He had a smoke machine or something under his car because you'd see the white lights and you'd see the smoke trickling through the light itself, and it gave this crazy, almost like the car was floating on a cloud vibe. Yeah, and I'm like, for one, I was like, that has to be illegal. Most extended exterior lights are. Yeah, but the fact that it was smoking and it wasn't just coming out of one area, it was the whole side, the back, the front, and I'm assuming the other side. So as he was driving, when he was driving fast, I think it kind of turned off. I don't know how it functioned. But when he was going a certain speed, you wouldn't really see the smoke because you're going too fast. Right. But as you came to like a slow pace, maybe like 10 miles an hour, and you're in traffic, you could see that smoke, dude. The smoke was very vibrant white, so that's why I said it had to be like a smoke machine. Yeah. And then you had the white underglow kit on it, and just the way that the lights hit that smoke and it looked like there was a cloud under the car. And I was sitting there just like, this is bizarre. And that was one of the wildest shits I ever saw. And I was like, it's dope. But I was like, that's some wild shit to think about. Like, how do I install multiple smoke machines to distribute smoke in such a manner that my white lights hit it and it looks like I'm on a cloud at night?
Yeah. I thought about doing shit like that. Not to that point, but like, I mean, it was mostly for car shows where you would have, if you didn't have the smoke machine, a good substitute was dry ice and a cup of water. Put it under your seat. And then the floorboards would fill up with all the smoke, and then it would like spill over onto the outside. Yep, that was about the closest thing. Other than that, like I know people used to put like cotton around the cars, around the tires and stuff, so it looked like it's doing a static burnout.
But see, that's at a show. I'm talking about straight up just on the driving. 405. Yeah. Like that was blue. I mean, I've seen the smoke in the shows and stuff. But just driving, and then like when you get to a certain speed, you see the smoke with the underbody kit lighting it up, and I was bugging out. Like I was like, this is dope. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if it's something I would go out and do, but it was dope for what it was.
I'd have been geeked. I would have been geeked.
But it was definitely I mean, like I said, I can't even remember the car because I was so like intrigued by the aesthetics. But it was, if I had to guess, it was probably somewhere along the lines of a Sported Out Prelude. Kind of had that vibe.
The good
just
old
kind of recollecting, you know.
97 Prelude, man. Those I used to like those.
I keep seeing all these rumors about Supras coming out, and I'm like, let's see it already. Like for the last 5 or 6 years, I've seen these concepts for a new Supra.
They have a Supra out, don't they?
So I haven't seen one on the roads. Is what I mean.
Okay.
Like I would assume that like the popularity of the Supra was so vast at one point that I feel like if they redropped it and some of the concepts that I saw, if they were production, I feel like I would see more.
Well, I feel like they're gonna, if they do drop them, they're gonna be pricey. They're gonna be
yeah.
Low. I mean,
Toyota,
low 6 digits, if not
Toyota
high.
knows what they got at this point.
Yeah,
they know the hype. So yeah, I mean, I could see it, entry level, being like 90, and then getting something worthwhile like 110 and up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Nissan is bringing back the older style Z.
Yeah.
I saw one in the showroom the other day. I was getting my oil change. 85 grand.
Wow.
It had more of like a 240 feel to it.
Right.
The shape of it and everything like that.
Pricing on cars has always been an interesting factor for me because and it's not that I don't think GTRs are cool. But if I've got, 80, 90 grand and I'm looking for a car, the last thing I have in my mind is a Nissan. And it's not really a poke at Nissan.
Right.
When I think $90,000 to $100,000, I'm not thinking Nissan.
So what are you thinking?
I mean, I'm at this stage in my life, I'm looking more luxury. So, I'd go for like an entry level something, or I don't know, like a Mercedes entry Bentley. You know what I mean? I'm thinking more classy luxury. If I'm spending $100 grand or something like that, I'm gonna go something a little bit more luxurious than and nothing against the Nissan GTR. I think they're fast, they're dope. They can be kitted up and they look fire. But like, it's just me personally. It's weird. Like when I see a Hyundai Genesis. I know technically it's not called but it's a Hyundai.
The Genesis, yeah.
But
those are clean.
They're luxury, right? But again, knowing that it's a Hyundai, even though it's their sub-brand, it's like Toyota and Lexus, right? Like they're the same company, right? But just knowing that it's a Hyundai and seeing the prices of some of those Genesis now inside the interior, they're phenomenal. They look great. Like some of them look really dope. They're some crazy luxury features. The car themselves look very nice, but the back of my mind goes, it's still a Hyundai. So that's my own personal battle, I guess.
Right.
But but every car is owned by all those cars are kind of owned by companies that have lower tier cars. I mean, Toyota had a various tiers. I mean, remember I think they closed up shop a few years back. But remember, they started off your most entry level thing was a Scion, and then if you wanted to step up, then you were just Toyota, and then obviously you had your Lexus and so on. But most cars are like that.
Scion came late. They weren't even. It's not like they were always around.
No, It was a sub brand that they brought out. It was the affordable Toyota. They called them the Scions, and they were around for a hot minute. And then I don't remember when they stopped making them, but I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. I remember they said Scions were no more. I remember everybody used to get I used to call them the toaster box. Remember the
bread
square
box? Yeah. The XB.
Yeah, there you go. So I remember everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get one of them." I'm like, you're gonna get a toaster? Looks like a toaster, man.
You got Bow Wow with the XB and Fast and Furious.
Right.
Too Fast, Too Furious. The Hulk with the fists on the side. I thought that was crazy. I thought that was dope.
Toaster box.
Thought it was dope.
You know what I've always wanted to do is I've always those little smart cars.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to find some because they have ragtop versions of those.
Yeah.
And there's ones that have like little small sunroofs as well. I've always wanted to find two. I don't even care about the colors at this point, but just find two of them, park them next to each other, and like stick my legs inside the The sunroofs.
to look like giant skates.
Look like some skates. I feel like that'd be a dope photo shoot.
That'd be crazy.
So if anybody has a smart car, 2 people preferably, they got a sunroof, hit up the comments, man, because I want to do a photo shoot. I think that'd be fire.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be fire, So, but yeah, man. I mean, yeah, cars. It is a hobby.
Yeah, it is. I miss my hobby. I haven't really. I mean,
The 300 wagon.
Yeah, since moving back to California, I haven't really done much with the cars.
Right.
It's just been kind of sitting. I tried to when I first got back in 2015. Tried to hit some shows up, but every time I tried to go to a show, something would happen with the car. Blew it back, or flat tire, or rims were cracked, so they were leaking. Like, it was just always something.
And then you met wifey, and then there goes all the money. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, not even that. I mean, even before that, I didn't have the money for, because like I've been retired since 2015, but it's a very meager.
The thing is cars, similar to a lot of stuff that you and I are both kind of I don't want to even say hobbyists, because some of it's professional, but like photography, cars, collecting Funko Pops, things like, dude, like, it's some expensive shit. Like,
yeah, it adds up.
I know with me with photography, like, let's put buying the camera aside. That price is crazy as it is.
Right.
But when you need lenses, sometimes the lenses cost more than the camera.
Them lenses ain't cheap.
So, but that 300 wagon of yours, though, man, I remember cruising around in the 300 wagon. I had my 3.
Yeah,
was, the fact that you threw the 3 kit on the Magnum, that was dope.
Timing just happened to work out. But I mean, shout out to Dodge for making a platform that was universal, for a lack of a better word, because all the same cars fit on the LX platform.
It was the same chassis: the 300s, the Magnums, the Chargers, the Challengers.
Well, Challenger was a little different,
slightly, but you can still do some stuff.
That was an LC frame, but yeah, those 3, the Challenger,
the Charger, Magnum, and 300, yeah.
The Charger, the Magnum, and the 300, like, all have the same frame. All the body parts are interchangeable. All the anterior parts are interchangeable.
I've seen some interesting stuff done with some of the Challengers, though, where they've intertwined some of those things. I know it's a little bit different of a fit. It's a lot more custom going into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Those prominent 3, you could literally just pop them off and pop them on. You can switch at will.
Yeah. The Magnum is just a station wagon version of a 300.
Yeah, it's just
That's all it is.
It's just the hatch goes to the back versus the trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I dug what you did to that one. Shaving the doors and
suicide.
Going the whole route. I mean, it was
shaved door, suicide handles, airbagged, 300 front end.
Now I'm on that touch locks on the handle.
I was planning on doing that, never completely got around to it.
And now it's almost normal on most new cars.
But
so.
Again, these big manufacturers taking their cues from street modifications.
Yes.
They're like, oh, that's cool. Like, can we incorporate that? Like, let's do it.
They're paying attention. And I feel like some of the people they're hiring are those people.
Yeah.
They're hiring people who are enthusiasts that we're customizing that they now have on the payroll. What would you do with this? Oh, here's what I do. And it'd be something that you'd be familiar with. The streets would be familiar with. And
yeah.
Now you've boosted your appeal on that vehicle, because even the stock now is something that's nearly custom, but it's stock.
Yeah, but yeah, I loved that Magnum. I mean, I've always been a fan of.
Did you ever try to race your 3?
Yeah, I've been to the track a couple times.
I seem to remember that. Was when you were in VA?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember. I thought I remembered you saying something about you taking it to the track.
Went up to the track. I mean, it was one of the.
You had to unload though, right, to get some of that weight out.
I didn't unload shit.
You just left everything up?
I mean, I'm not a racer.
Right.
mean, I'm also in no-go. I just happen to have a 350 horsepower station wagon.
Right.
It's a grocery getter with a little giddy up and go. So people were giving me crap for not doing any weight reduction, showing up with a full tank of gas and some 22s.
Right.
Like,
I was going to say that the rims, you didn't drain the tank. You probably had speakers in the back.
Black people doing black people shit. Like... So
you didn't take the back seat out.
None of that. None of the weight reduction. Have my windshield washer full of fluid. Like they're like, oh, that's a 1/10 of a second right there, and I'm like, I'm just out here to have some fun. It was a track day.
I'd be the smart ass to go, all right, well, take all them tenths of a seconds because of the stuff that I have, and whatever time I get,
that's my handicap.
Minus it, and then if it's faster than your car that has that, then I'm faster than you.
That's my handicap.
Do the math.
But yeah,
this equation.
One of the crews that I was chilling with out there at the time, I think they were called DC Modern Mopar. No. Okay. DCLX. That's what it was.
DCLX.
Before. It was DCLX because it was the LX frames.
Okay.
But then they changed the name to DC Modern Mopar. Anyway, long story short, hanging out with them, they were doing a track day up at one of the racetracks. So it was like, come through. Everything's all rented out. You can do as many runs as you want. Everything is unlimited. So I went, showed up, ran my car like, I don't know, 19 times down the track or something like that. Like it was just, I was just having fun. And I mean, even for me to not be into racing, to pull my car down and run like I think my best time was a 14.12.
Right.
Slow by any racer standards, because I was
14 seconds. I mean, yeah. I mean, if I saw somebody put up a 14, I'm like, why are you here?
I mean, Vin Diesel said it best for those 10 seconds or less.
Right.
Like, but to get a car to go 10 seconds in a quarter mile is not an easy task to do. Anyway.
I guess the ultimate goal is, and this is a cheesy statement, but you were able to reach the finish line.
I was. I'm the turtle.
So you could reach it.
I could reach that. I reached it. So,
with that said, I mean, I appreciate everybody that's been hitting us up about the show. We've been getting a lot of good feedback, some criticism, some constructive stuff that we'll try to work on. But yeah, keep checking back every week. We look forward to it, and yeah. Can you reach that?
Can you reach that?
Can you reach that?
Can You Reach That? Brought to you by Double One Entertainment in Coopersville. Hosted by Tango and Coop. And created and edited by Tim Greenlee and Brandon Adolphus. Music, sound design, and editing by Michael B. That's me. Visual art and graphic design by Jonathan Greenlee. Additional visual design by Timothy Greenlee.